All right, hey everybody. This is Elwood EQ again, and I've just set up a situation. I had a pet that was my tank pet and also a DPS pet. Lorian Zen X-Pac hasn't encountered any rares that I've cared about killing that I really needed to have my tank pet out to take care of. So I've ditched him because I still have my DPS pet in suspended, but this is what you need to do. You only have you only have one suspendable. You can only have two pets at one time. I mean, not okay, not working at the same time, but you can switch back and forth between one pet and the other with this A right here, right? All pet classes. I think even the lesser pet classes, or the not specialized pet classes, I think they might even have this too. I actually never looked. I'm not sure. I play a shaman a little bit, but anyway, I just play it solo. That's not the point. This video is about charming mobs as a necromancer. This is a little bit more of an advanced thing. It's not really a basic, but I do feel like it's something that is overlooked, because for the longest time it's just really a non-starter. Most casual players that just maybe have a necro as part of their box team, they don't really go deep into the class itself, like somebody like me that just plays one character all the time, whether it's by myself or in a group or whatever. I know what my class that I'm playing can do, the classes that I've played. And of the classes that I've played pretty well, just them, I've played Ranger, Mage, Necro, and Beast Lord. And of all those classes, the Necro is the most practical. The most fun, I think, is the Ranger. The second in practicality, but absolute worst as far as boredom goes, is Mage. And then Beast Lord, just don't feel like I really got very good at that, so I barely even count that. It was an alt. And I've put a video on here and there, but I just don't dig the vibe on the Beast Lord playing. Other people do. That's cool. That's their thing, man. And they like it. That's cool, but it wasn't really for me. How I think of combat pets and how they use them doesn't gel with how my mind works. I just don't. It's not my thing. So you really either Necro or Mage. And Mage with their one button DPS mashing is too clicky, and it's powerful, but it's just kind of boring. I like the Necro the best for a pet class personally. Anyway, one of the digs on Necro is that they have weak pets. They don't really have weak pets anymore. Not in the higher levels. Okay. In the higher levels, I would say from about 100 on, maybe 105 on, or so. The difference between say a Necro tank pet and a Mage air pet is nothing. They're equal in tankability. And the Earth pet for the Mage is definitely a better tank, on par with the Beast Lord pet when it's in its tank mode type of thing. But I would say the Mage pet's probably slightly better for how I think of using pets again, right? But then again, the Necro, and the biggest reason why you have a tank pet like that for a Mage is that you need to take on more than one mob at a time, and it can do that. Necros, we don't have that need. We can get single pulls pretty routinely, unless there's very specific circumstances where it might not be possible, but there's usually ways to kind of work around it with a little effort. You can almost always get a rare isolated by itself and get that pull. So with that said, let me take a little sip of coffee here. So what do you do when your tank pet just simply isn't strong enough to tank a rare? That's not the case in this X pack, but I have encountered it in the past. And that is by using the Dire Charm AA, which was revamped, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, a couple of years ago, something like that. They revamped it to function much more reliably. If you read the new description, the way they reworked it, so this guy has a 30-minute cooldown, and this max rank of it you can charm a level 123 or lower undead creature without the chance for them to break free for a full 6 minutes. The 6 minutes is not modified to my knowledge. I haven't noticed it being modified in length. So that's a hard 6 minutes, but it's 6 minutes. And for a Necro fighting a rare, 6 minutes should be enough time for you to kill it. If you're using your burns and all that stuff. And it says if the creature is 46 or lower, they'll be permanently charmed. So there's that little sort of thing for lower levels. But what we really are concerned about with the level 125 max A type of character I have is this upper echelon, just max type of level. So 123. Okay, those are only undead creatures. But as you all know, we have this nuke that when you burn something with this nuke, it has a pretty good chance. It's not guaranteed, but it's a pretty good chance. It's a magic resist, so it does fail. I know it says fire, but the second part of it, when you're changing it, that's a magic resist check. We'll change it to undead though. And yes, when you use this on a live mob, you can change it to undead. And when you're changing it to undead, you're able to charm it. And then after the undead debuff breaks off, it stays charmed. It's still your pet. Okay. Now I've had most of my experience. I've done this before, but I've had most of my experience just charming undead to kill a rare in COV that I just couldn't hang with my pet. It was getting destroyed. It was a Shadow Knight class rare that was incredibly difficult to try to solo for me anyway at my group level kind of gear, and he was a tough bugger. I have a video on my channel somewhere of me killing him, so you can see me doing that. But that was with an undead mob that I charmed. I didn't have to go through a lot of this. I didn't have to switch it over. Okay, so this is a journey here of doing this. So the idea is what you do is I made a macro here. Okay, so number 12 for me is my swarm pet. Send my swarm pet in, then I debuff it to bring down the resist a little bit. Then I try to nuke it with that nuke to turn it undead, and then I charm it. This is the alt act for the Dire Charm. Okay, so I'm going to give it a shot here. There are two things to worry about. Okay, one, can your swarm pet hold aggro enough for you to be able to try this? The second element that's part of that also is that can you, when you send it in and you nuke it, there's a possibility if your nuke is too strong that you might get summoned if it's a mob that summons. These mobs do not summon, and they're snareable also, although I'm not going to use a snare on them. So that in this case, it's not going to be a situation that you have to worry about. But that would be the thing that would screw it up a bit. If you have a live mob, you want to try to charm so you can take down a rare, but that live mob, a lot of times in these upper levels, the regular trash mobs, they'll summon. which is one of the reasons why I switched to Necro from Ranger. But that's not the case in this case, and this still is going to work a lot of times. So even in the X packs that do have a lot of trash mobs that summon, usually not all of them do, and it's still possible you could find one to charm to help you out. Another negative about this is that realistically you have to be able to charm a mob that's in the general area of where that rare is. Okay? And also the rare has to be able to be single pulled when you do that. So it's a little crazy. It's not foolproof, and there are conditions, but this is many times another way to be able to take down rares. They've also nerfed the charm mechanism where after you charm a mob, it does keep the same hit points, but the aggro it does is very low. And because of that, a lot of classes still can't use Dire Charm because the mob simply won't keep aggro if they're trying to solo, right? Necros have this right here, pet buff, that you'll be able to land on your combat pet. That'll increase. You can buff it to increase the attack speed on the charmed mob, as well as this, which I use all the time, that adds life tap procs to it. Those two things combined with silent casting that lasts, how long does it last? For a minute and a half. Gives you a really good, if you do this right from the beginning, it gives you a good bump up to let your pet build up enough aggro that for the first minute and a half that you're not gaining hardly any aggro at all. And through that minute and a half, in my experience, the charm mob gains enough aggro that when you're finishing off the fight, you can't catch up to the aggro the pet's already gained for you to have to worry about it. It works out okay. So we're going to give this a shot. I've talked a lot, and just going to give it a go. And a great thing is that, if this doesn't work, if I whiff on it, on making it undead, then I can just FD and try it again. It's no big deal. The biggest key is just making this guy undead. As you can see, he is level 123. It's within the level range, so this ought to work. So here we go. Let's go. There goes nothing. Give it a shot. Something about that macro didn't work quite as I expected. I think, so the macro is a little broken. But as you can see, it was a live mob, and now I have it charmed. I can do this. Now it has, it's got haste, and it has that. And it's got massive hit points. So I can send this puppy in and just treat it just like, now this is a trash mob I'm killing with him. But this is to demonstrate that he's going to be able to keep now I put a slow on him. Damn. See, that was a mistake. I got to fix that macro. So he might have a little difficulty actually keeping up the deep, the aggro because I slowed the jackass. But life goes on. We'll see if it works out anyway. Oh, whoops. No, he's slowed, so that's good. Yeah. So the idea also, I would have to switch back to my combat spells, which I'm going to do here real quick. Before you start fighting, I forgot to do that. It's been a while since I've had to use this mechanic to kill anything. As you can see, my aggro is at 37, even though I accidentally slowed my pet. So I both hasted him and slowed him. So that was a mistake. And when you, all you got to do, let's kill this guy. I'll cover how to break charm after this. See, we got like 3 minutes. And I've been kind of goofing around. This isn't, you know, a real good example of trying to go, you know, I haven't hit any of this. I don't need to. It's a trash mob. I'm just giving a demonstration on just how to do this. For anybody that would be interested in playing a Necro in a more complete fashion, you know. I've never known any of the other classes that could dire charm to be able to actually use it in this fashion. Now they can use it in a group situation. Okay. Now, how do you break the charm? It's important. Before you do, you must suspend your healer merc. Because that healer merc, I don't know, I just do it. I'm afraid that he might have aggro, right? So what I do is I just suspend him and then I just FD, right? And there we go. He is free and he still has those buffs on him for a little bit, which is going to make him a little bit more of a handful to kill. So there you go with that. He's going to keep those buffs until they wear out. This haste buff is going to last for 2 hours and 46 minutes here. Somebody rolls around and says, hey, I'm just going to grind on these a little bit. What the, this guy, is he a rare? What's going on? Yeah, he's going to be a little tougher. So there we are. That is how you charm a live mob, and to use it roughly. As usual, I made a little bit of a goofy mistake a bit. So yeah, I'm gonna, and so but you have to have an open slot, right? You got suspend minion. I'm just gonna bring back my other pet just to show you that I can do it. All right, there's Elwood. That's my DPS pet. I kept him fully geared and everything. I sacrificed a lot of gear to do this video on that other pet because I had him tricked out, man. So, and as usual, like I'm telling you, I'm not really rich or anything. And it's getting late in this X pack, and using barter to actually gain money also is a little slim pickings too. You have to really make some efforts to sell stuff on barter if you want to try to gain some plat on my server. This is a normal server, CT server. What was I going to really say? But I kept my DPS pet because, you know, say when the next X pack rolls around, if he has trouble tanking something in the beginning until I get my pet upgrades, the new pet, you know, I'll have the option of charming to be a tank, I guess. I don't know. It's gonna hurt. I'm gonna probably have to re-outfit a tank pet at some point, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Well, actually, I will when I get the new upgraded pet. The new upgraded tank pet I'll probably use instead of this pet in the next X pack. So that's just how that's gonna go. I'm gonna linger it on as I do, but that's it. There you go. This is Elwood EQ. This is how you charm a live mob, and without it beating on you when you're trying to charm it. It worked out pretty well, but yeah, I got to work on this macro. I got to make sure I got to do something different. So maybe put a pause in it or something. But yeah, so I don't slow my own, pet. So there we go. Have a good one. And I'm out.